Fentanyl must be something extraordinary. At least, that's the impression you'd get from how many people give up everything for it. Their loved ones, careers, homes, dignity, even their lives, all thrown away. But the truth is, fentanyl isn't some magical superdrug. It's actually a worse version of heroin, inferior in nearly every way except one. It's perfect for drug dealers. While it's infamous for being deadly, many of the people it kills weren't even trying to take it. It's a disastrously dumb substance to destroy your life over. To understand why, it helps to look at what fentanyl does, what it feels like, and why heroin, despite its dangers, offers a different experience. Humans are driven by two powerful forces, pain and pleasure. Pain is one of the most raw and immediate signals the body has. Sharp, overwhelming, and often terrifying. It exists to tell us, in no uncertain terms, to stop doing whatever's causing it. Pleasure, on the other hand, rewards us. Sweet food, sex, laughter with friends, achieving something meaningful, these all feel good. And that's by design. Pleasure says, do that again. And sometimes survival requires both pain relief and pleasure at the same time. After childbirth, for instance, pain is softened while the brain releases powerful bonding chemicals. In the middle of an exhausting, dangerous hunt, injuries and fatigue disappear in a focused, energized trance. Nature's tool for this dual job is the opioid receptor. Opioid receptors are like tiny locks on certain neurons. When activated, they both dull pain and generate pleasure. Our bodies make their own opioids, like endorphins, which are carefully dosed and released only when necessary, just enough to ease a sprain, lighten a bad memory, or make reconnecting with a friend feel wonderful. But humans didn't stop at natural opioids. We found powerful ones in plants, like morphine, and refined them into drugs. Some of these, like codeine, OxyContin, and Vicodin, are used in medicine to help people in serious pain. Others, like heroin, and especially fentanyl, are much more potent and much more dangerous. To understand why fentanyl is such a terrible drug, imagine what it's like to take heroin. Heroin floods your system, flipping on nearly every opioid receptor it touches. What follows is a massive, overwhelming rush of pleasure. Your brain's control systems are completely hijacked. The gates to happiness swing wide open, flooding your mind and body with euphoria. Every sensation becomes magical. That first sip of coffee tastes divine. A favorite song becomes an otherworldly symphony. A simple hug feels like cosmic love. Every source of pain, physical, emotional, psychological, just vanishes. It's not that the pain is gone, it's that you can't feel it. And more importantly, you don't care about it. Your nervous system powers down, your breathing slows, your muscles relax, stress disappears. You're wrapped in calm and contentment, like drifting on a quiet ocean. It's peaceful, serene, and deeply satisfying. For a few hours, you feel like you've discovered heaven. And that's exactly the problem. Nothing in your normal experience prepares your brain for this. It feels too good, so good in fact, that you'll do almost anything to feel it again. But with repeated use, the magic fades, the damage mounts, and the high turns into a trap. That's heroin. Now imagine a version that's cheaper, stronger, shorter lasting, harder to dose, and way more deadly. That's fentanyl. It's not about making users feel better. It's about profits, potency, and mass production. And in the end, it's a drug that ruins more lives than almost any other. Not because it's the best, but because it's the most ruthless. But nothing lasts forever, and now you're in trouble. You've just experienced the most intense pleasure of your life. Your brain's reward system is completely overwhelmed, unable to process what just happened. If something feels that good, your brain assumes it must be critical to your survival and demands you do it again. But the brutal truth is, you'll never feel that good again. That first high will always be the peak of your life. You might spend years chasing that initial feeling, but it will never return. Now, you're back in the regular world where your knee still hurts, your coffee tastes ordinary, and joy takes effort. Compared to what you just felt, everything else seems dull. And that comparison between normal life and a supernova of bliss can permanently damage how you experience reality. The high comes at a steep price, a lasting distortion of your sense of joy, pain, and self. And that's not even the worst part. Opioids are among the most addictive substances known to humanity, and opioid addiction is one of the most devastating. Once you've taken opioids a few times, your brain starts pushing back. The cells responsible for pleasure and pain are constantly being overstimulated. To compensate, your brain makes them more active, more resistant. This tolerance builds quickly, sometimes in just days. That bliss you were chasing, it's already fading. You need more of the drug to get even close to the same effect. At this point, you face a choice. Stop now and let your brain return to normal over time, or keep going and take more. Many take the wrong turn. Over the next few weeks, your brain continues to fight back harder. You up the dose, trying to reclaim that first high. But the effects grow weaker. They're still pleasant, but never what they were. Then one day, you run out, and that's when your body turns on you. With no opioids to balance its now hyperactive systems, everything flips. You're no longer just missing the drug. You're in full withdrawal. The calm and happiness vanish. In their place, unease, discomfort, emotional chaos. Your coffee tastes like nothing. Music sounds flat. People feel far away. All your fears, insecurities, and trauma come flooding back with a vengeance. Anxiety replaces serenity. You're consumed with dread. Your heart races. You can't stop sweating or shaking. Your muscles and bones ache inexplicably. You might vomit or have uncontrollable diarrhea. You're exhausted but too restless to sleep. Every system in your body is in revolt. And at the center of this storm is the craving, screaming for you to make it stop. This can last for days, sometimes weeks, or you can make it end instantly, with another hit. But here's the twist. Taking opioids forever doesn't mean staying in a state of euphoria. Your tolerance builds to the pleasurable effects faster than it does to the dangerous ones, like slowed breathing. Eventually there's no high anymore, just numbness, sedation, and a temporary escape from withdrawal. You're not chasing heaven anymore. You're just trying to avoid hell. You're stuck in a loop, numb to joy, disconnected from everything that once made life worth living. Friends, food, laughter, love, they're still there, but you can't feel them. Opioid addiction isn't just about pain. It's about losing your ability to feel pleasure at all. Escaping it is incredibly difficult, and many never do. Which brings us to fentanyl. Everything said so far applies to opioids in general. All of them can feel amazing. All of them can become hell. Heroin used to be the strongest. But fentanyl changed that. Fentanyl is roughly 50 times more potent than heroin. But don't let that fool you. It doesn't mean it's 50 times better. It means it's faster, riskier, and far more likely to kill you. It's engineered not for pleasure, but for efficiency. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, the protective shield around your brain, extremely well. So it hits fast. 1 second you're sober, the next you're slammed with a high. But just as fast as it arrives, it fades. A heroin high can last 4 to 6 hours. Fentanyl might last 30 minutes, sometimes less, and it doesn't even feel as good. Instead of a wave of bliss, you get a kind of numb, sleepy daze. You're not experiencing euphoria. You're nodding out, slipping into unconsciousness. The high is short, flat, and empty. But the withdrawals, they're all still there. And often worse, because fentanyl hits the brain so hard and fast, it fries your reward system even more. You become addicted faster, crave harder, and lose yourself quicker. Fentanyl isn't the ultimate high. It's just heroin's cheap, deadly cousin. Easier to make, easier to smuggle, harder to survive. It's not worth trying, not even once. Because that one try could be the end. And since such a tiny amount of fentanyl can be lethal, it's incredibly easy to overdose, often by accident. It's not just dangerous, it's the deadliest illegal drug in US history. Between 2013 and 2023, it was responsible for around 400,000 deaths. Fentanyl really is garbage heroin. Far too dangerous, far too intense, far too addictive, and offering far too little actual pleasure. So why are so many people using it? The truth is, most people aren't choosing to. Fentanyl isn't made for users, it's made for dealers. The house always wins fentanyl is a drug dealer's dream. A single truckload could supply the entire United States for a year. It's cheap to manufacture, easy to smuggle, and doesn't require crops or fields like heroin does. So, as a business decision, fentanyl replaced heroin. And for users, it seemed like the same thing, until it wasn't. The trap had already snapped shut. Some people might actively seek fentanyl, but research shows most opioid users try to avoid it. The real nightmare is that many people who die from fentanyl never meant to take it in the first place. Dealers mix trace amounts of it into other drugs to make their products more addictive. Even if someone doesn't know they've taken an opioid, they'll feel it and crave it. That craving makes people come back. It's strategic. The result? The entire US drug supply has become a deadly minefield. Fentanyl is being mixed into everything, from counterfeit pills to party drugs, creating situations where one wrong dose can kill. In 2022, fentanyl-laced pills, often fake oxycodone or benzodiazepines, were linked to about 20% of all fentanyl deaths. The following year, US authorities seized 115 million fake pills containing fentanyl. Shockingly, 70% of them had a lethal dose, and the risk isn't limited to opioids. Around half of fentanyl overdoses involved drugs